Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a trip video. We are currently on top of Pine Mountain just above Whitesburg, Kentucky. We've drove probably a good hour and a half, 2 hours to get here. And the main point of all this is that over here is one end of what is known as the Little Shepherd's Trail. It is roughly a 38-mile improved road, about a lane and a half wide. It's one end is here on top of Pine Mountain. It runs back through Kingdom Come State Park, through Cumberland, on into it runs out on up above Harlan. So, like I said, it's like one of those. It's not a dirt road. It's like loose pack blacktop. I've done a small section of it years and years ago, but all in all, it is very pretty. I think it's like one of Kentucky's scenic routes. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. So we have our goofball of a navigator who has no sense of direction with us today. So yes, no sense of direction.
I didn't drive.
That your co-pilot is always supposed to be the navigator, even when you don't know where we're going.
I thought it's here. I did.
Okay, so she plays the radio most of the time and complains about being bored. But yeah, this is the view from the top of Pine Mountain. Of course, they have information plaques. Of course, anytime you have a state park site or something of that nature, you have information boards. And then we're going to go over here and check out this. I believe they call it like Pine Mountain Rock. And somebody's throwing rocks at me. I wonder who that could be. But just to give you some idea, you go down that side of the mountain, you're in Whitesburg. And Whitesburg is literally at the base of the mountain. Then you go back the way we came, and that takes you out into Cumberland, on into Harlan. So before we get pelted with any more rocks, we're going to go over here and have a look at the information board and check out this big rock. Okay, so here we are at the information center for this. Our first panel talks about Pine Mountain Trail Conference. It gives you general information about the area. Of course, let's see here. To promote, construct, and manage continuous hiking trails with a related spur connector and access trails to be called the Pine Mountain Trail, and to conserve the natural environment of the trail and its adjacent lands, the trail shall run from the Breaks Interstate Park to Cumberland Gap National Historic Park along the Pine Mountain Ridge over the summits and through the scenic points of interest, so as to render the mountain accessible principally for primitive camping, backpacking, and hiking. The trail shall be a means for showcasing the wild highlands and conserving the natural culture and heritage of the Appalachia for future generations. So this is kind of, I guess this is kind of the where they've went in. This is the information for the hiking trails, and then you have a trail map, and then you have just general guidelines, trail usage, leave no trace ethics, and then a warning sign about the bears. So we do have black bears in this area. So that's our information sign. And then let's go out here and check this rock. I've been here a couple of times, but I've never actually came out here to look at this, which is kind of neat. well, completely missed the sign. It is mostly over here on the Whitesburg side of the mountain. If you come up and over, you'll not see the sign until you pass it, but Pine Mountain Trail State Park, Little Shepherd's Trail section. And then they have this thing put up here, which it doesn't tell exactly what it is, but I'm assuming that this would be your Pine Mountain Rock. So yeah, that's kind of neat. So we will go back over here to our mischievous co-pilot and see what she's up to. And then we might hop in the Jeep and travel down a little further till we find something interesting. Okay, so we are officially on Little Shepherd's Trail. As you can see, it is basically one-lane blacktop. And it is literally like right on the edge of the mountain. There is no guardrail, so it's, take your time, go slow. I've been using first and second gear. I just wanted to stop because this rock formation is right next to the road, and I wanted to record that. Unfortunately, a bunch of idiots have spray painted symbols and so-and-so loves so-and-so with dates and such on the side of the rock, so vandals ruin it for everybody. So we will mosey on down the trail. So we have just stopped at a little section here. I don't know if this will show up too well on camera or not, but just to kind of put it in perspective as to the trail that we're on. We are literally riding along the ridge line up here, and I figured this would be a good spot to give you a little bit of information, well, additional information. I did do a little research on the Little Shepherd's Trail, and it was constructed as a fire access road for battling wildfires in Letcher and Harlan County, between, like I said, Pine Mountain and Harlan. The way it got its name, Little Shepherd's Trail, when they had started the project, they held a contest between grade school children in the two counties, I believe it was, and the children submitted names as to what to possibly call it when it was open for tourism, and the name Little Shepherd Trail was chosen, I believe. And one of the reasons that it was chosen was because it does have a connection to a book that was written by an author that lived in the surrounding area. I can't recall his name at the moment, but that's just a little bit of background and story. The actual conditions are better than I had expected. I mean, this is actually a nice one-lane blacktop. There's a few rough patches where, excuse me, like the edges have kind of, eroded off. So you have to watch about that. But I mean, it's about a lane and a half wide. Every so often there's wide spots. We have met one vehicle so far, and luckily it was right past a turn where I could back up into a wide spot, so no drama there. If you go on to the Kentucky tourism websites, I knew about Little Shepherd's Trail just from getting out and traveling around the area. here in southeast Kentucky. But if you Google it, you can actually find it and find information on it. I know I think it might be Harlan County. Their tourism website. They actually have. I know the website that I found. It actually says 4x4 recommended. Now, you obviously do not need four-wheel drive for this. This at the moment. It may get rough later on, and that there may be patches that are, just gravel or just, dirt, and it may get rough when you may actually need four-wheel drive. But I mean, any vehicle that is not slammed to the ground would probably do this very easily. Now, I will say that if you have a bigger vehicle, like a 2500 series pickup truck, you might find a few spots that are actually a little bit on the tight side. There are sections of switchbacks, which are quite fun. A couple of significant, they're not really long grades, but they're fairly steep. Sections where I've actually took and went down to first gear, just for the lower speed and higher torque. Second gear would have been too high for those sections. But all in all, it is very pretty out here. That's the first full week of June is when we're out here. I say if you came out in the fall, when all the trees had changed colors, it would be absolutely beautiful. So we're going to hop back in the Jeep. We'll stop just for a quick video break, and we're going to mosey on down. Our goal for this section is to get to Kingdom Come State Park. I am 95% certain that this runs into the top of it, and we'll probably do a little videoing there because I know there's one spot that's actually very neat. I've been there once before, and I'd like to get that on video. So we'll talk to everyone in a little bit. Okay, so here we are at the Eddie Saltes Overlook. Altitude 2,725 feet. There's just a small pullover spot here. So careful not to go over the edge of the mountain. But the view is absolutely beautiful. Just as far as you can see. That's the beautiful thing about living in the mountains. I actually have a friend at work that had told me about this. But I didn't know it was before we got to the Kingdom Come State Park. But absolutely. Well, there you go. You can see clear down that valley. Till it all just disappears into a haze. So we finally made it back to Kingdom Come State Park. We've stopped here at an overlook. Give you an idea here. Like I said, Little Shepherd's Trail is actually a Kentucky road. They call this primitive road to US 119. It says Whitesburg is 14 miles that way. So of the 38 miles, we've already covered 14 of it. So that would leave us 24 miles to go. So 24. So if you start on Pine Mountain, when you get to Kingdom Come State Park, you are through the first third, which Little Shepherd's Trail is broken into about 3 sections. This would be the Creech Overlook, elevation 2,760 feet. So I don't believe it's quite as high as the previous one. But as you can see, this one is more or less developed and maintained by the Park Service with safety rails and such. So we will walk around this pool of water and get some video. Now, if you remember from the previous overlook, we was looking down at a farm or a little housing thing. That, I believe that would be it right back through there. So that's kind of how life is here in southeast Kentucky, is that you have large areas of just mountains and forest. You have towns and well, I was going to say small cities, but I don't think you could even term something as big as London as a small city, even though it does say city limits. But you have places like that, which kind of. Now, when you get over into the more mountainous area of eastern Kentucky, you know, you might have a little bitty town, and I mean, I kid you not, some towns are literally a grocery store and a post office. I mean, towns get pretty small when you get into the mountains, because the towns would pop up just wherever there was a big enough valley, and then people live just kind of scattered out throughout the mountains.
Hey.
Yes.
Don't get my phone. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
I remember to take a picture of us.
Oh, the selfie mode?
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to get the phone. We're going to get the thing. Which, there's a few other things here in Kingdom Come State Park that I was wanting to video and show my wife. There it is. That's the beauty of black on black. Everything matches. So, back up the steps. So, we will end with the view, and we'll see everybody at the next point of interest. Okay, for about the third take, we're here in Kingdom Come State Park. We have to get to this, you have to leave Little Shepherd's Trail and actually come down the mountain into the park. But I'd been here maybe once. This is called Log Rock, and it's a natural arch or natural bridge. So we're going to make the climb up to it and check it out. Okay, except for being fat and out of shape, that climb's not really that bad, but it is a decent little step up to it. So here we are at the base of Log Rock, And the walking trail actually takes you to where you can go underneath of it, and you can see it has basically just a big hunk of stone that everything else is washed out from underneath it over the years. And then when you get up on top here, it's actually not that hard to get up up onto the top of it. So, and it's not really that hard to get across it. So, as you can see, it's a little ways up, so I think my wife's wanting to take a picture of me up here. Well, you want to take a picture of me? Okay, so I'm going to stand right here.
Can you sit down, let your legs hang off?
I'd rather not sit down and get up being on top of this rock.
Okay.
Like lose my footing.
Can you crouch down?
Maybe. So
Stand up, crouch?
let me cut this off and I'll. Okay, we're back. So I don't know. My feet are a little sweaty and I'm on flip-flops, so I don't think I'm going to risk the narrower part. This is good enough for me, but here comes my wife, and she's wanting me to do pictures of her up here, I reckon.
My blood type so positive.
I figured you for a B negative. Ha ha ha.
Well, you gonna take pictures with my camera?
Take pictures of you with your camera. Okay, so after photo opportunities, we're headed back down. And I'm probably going to have to rescue Ashley from herself.
I got it.
You got it? Proud of you. You're not handicapped this time. So.
That's sand, all the sand.
Maybe that's why they call them sandals.
That's probably what I call you. Where's my poor camera out? All by its lonesome.
It ain't gonna hurt it. So, we will probably go back down to the Jeep
Yeah, you're alright.
and head back up the mountain to get back to Little Shepherd's Trail. Okay, YouTube, we're back. This is Bulldog Overlook, elevation 2,680 feet. We are at the top of Pine Mountain, or not Pine Mountain, Kingdom Come State Park. This will be our last overlook in the park as we are getting ready to hit Little Shepherd's Trail again for the second leg of our journey.
Never gonna get home.
Yes, we will. It's just slow going because it's a twisty road.
Bring it on me.
Hmm?
Bring it on me. If you're gonna come here, bring your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. Because this takes forever.
Well, it's 38 miles. You figure average speed of about 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, 10 miles an hour. That's what taking forever. Yeah, just bring your lunch.
Yeah,
and dinner,
about-
breakfast.
You want to plan a whole day if you want to do the whole trail. But this is our last overlook in the park.
Okay, you ready to take a picture?
So we're going to shut this off, take a few selfies. And here's my wife. And here's her stupid stick, as I call them.
It gets the whole mountain. I've had some good pictures. You have to do what you gotta do to get a good picture. So let's hurry up now.
Okay, we'll talk to everyone later. Okay, YouTube, we have found the last section of Little Shepherd's Trail. This is the section that runs between Cumberland and Harlan. And the first two sections, I can see everything from Pine Mountain out to Cumberland could be done in a car with enough clearance. I mean, you wouldn't want to take a lowrider through there. But the last section between Harlan and Cumberland is basically just a graded gravel road, and it being as such, you end up with potholes full of water. And we actually crossed a couple of significant ruts and washouts. I mean, nothing, Jeep swaddling, but enough that I went ahead and low locked it. That way I have the option of crawling across the rougher stuff. But I mean, it's good enough that I don't, as going slow, I've not felt the need to air down or anything. You might choose to do so for a little more ride comfort. But from the way it looks, this section had within the last year or so, been on fire. Because all your undergrowth is pretty well cleared, and it's just now growing back, so I'd say this probably burnt last fall. And you can see that all your vegetation is starting to spring back. The bottoms of your trees are singed. But all in all, it's very, very pretty. I don't know if it'll pick up on the audio, but the birds are singing. And it is just quiet and peaceful back here. This is why I absolutely love the mountains. And stuff like this is the reason why I told my wife my next vehicle, I wanted me a Jeep. So we're going to jump back in, and we'll probably do something at the end of the trail unless we find something, worth videoing. So talk to everyone in a bit. Okay, we're back, and I believe that this is probably our last point of interest on the trail. Well, she's getting hateful with me. But I was told that this is actually called Rebel Rock. And the story I was told behind that was during the Civil War, a Confederate soldier was being chased by the Union Army, and he actually had hid under the rock or something to that effect, and managed to escape them. Then, not quite, I think back there where all the graffiti is Rebel Rock. Not entirely sure what this is, but it has steps to it. This may be the actual Rebel Rock, but it's either that or this. I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't given a lot of specifics, but it looks like they had some kind of little outpost up here, possibly a fire watch tower at some point, or something of that nature. And why in the world people graffiti everything is beyond me. This stuff's been here for ages upon ages, but they think it needs to be changed by them making their mark on it. Of course, when you're up on top of the ridge like this, if you can find a clear path through the trees, you always have a absolutely beautiful view. As far as the trail, there's some sections that are pretty good, almost like a gravel road. I generally like third low for that, and then there have been some sections where I've went down to first low for rutted out hill climbs. It is rather fun. There's some sections with mud and water where it pulls up in the saddlebacks. I have seen some little offshoot, like loop trails that people have done, or the Forestry Service has made. And there's some mud holes on those that would probably swallow my Jeep. So I tried to stay out of those. So I've just been sticking to the main trail. It's getting cranky.
I don't want to go home.
Well, as soon as we're out of here, we'll be headed towards the house.
When do we need to get out of here? Look how high we are.
Yeah.
Be here till 12 o'clock.
That's what we got all the lights for.
You
But-
told me we'd get out here before dark.
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get out of here before dark. I have a feeling that we're fairly close to the end of this. So, I will close this off and probably shoot just a quick video at the end of the trail.